Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Saturday, July 15th. On the impact map, we have the continuing heat, near record heat building across the western Great Basin today. Then it pushes north and eastwards and overspreads the entire area with temperatures 5 to 10 degrees above normal. When you consider that normally mid-July is our hottest time of the year, normal's already pretty bad, but being 10 degrees above normal is even worse. In addition to that, after several days of baking, we have the potential, increasing potential in the computer models for high-based thunderstorms, fast-moving, very little rain at the surface, across coming off the Sierra, crossing into northwest Nevada, maybe a few isolated ones making their way into parts of Idaho. A tricky forecast. You can see the dashed line where fuels are mostly critical. Further northwards, it's a mixed bag of partially critical, where maybe the grasses in the lower elevation are cured, but the live fuel and the sagebrush are higher up in the timber, still not quite ready. But the added danger on Monday is after these fast-moving storms push away, we are expecting strong winds of 30 miles an hour or stronger with drying humidity to follow that lightning immediately. And that's a bad combination. You can get some good runs in that even if fuels are only partially critical. So they're watching Monday for that scenario. No lightning or precip in our area the past 24 hours. Initial attack light. Last 24 hours, new fire starts in the red. Recent fires in the yellow. Over the past 2 weeks, it has been bone dry. Areas in white here on the left, or even areas in the light blue, that's just a few hundredths of an inch over the course of 2 weeks, and a lot of that is radar estimated. It means it doesn't always even reach the ground. So only some pockets here in the mountains of eastern Idaho or western Wyoming, or maybe some of the Uintas, actually had some decent wetting rains. So very dry. The severe fire danger mapping system, it's a combination of burning index and ERC, shows a lot of areas in yellow, which is high. Orange is very high. You can see some pockets of orange here in Utah. You can see the Snake River Plain in moderate to high. Lots of carryover fuel there from the previous year. Still areas in blue here low across the mountains of Idaho. Some isolated higher elevations here in far northeast Nevada, also western Wyoming and the Uintas and the Wasatch. Still looking okay for now. Now, looking at some of the ERCs, picked out the areas that will be prone to the lightning Sunday night into Monday. So northwest Nevada, still below normal, but rising pretty rapidly, not too far below the normal. The West Elko PSA is actually somewhat a fraction above normal. The central Nevada mountains also just below normal, but keep in mind with the near record heat today and tomorrow, these values will rise even higher in the next 2 days before the lightning arrives. Satellite imagery, high pressure, kind of building northwestwards towards California. You can see some of the subtropical moisture down south, this enhanced area. This is what's going to rotate around the high and cut back across northern California into northwest Nevada Sunday night and Monday, enhanced by a strong cold front pushing down from this low up off the British Columbia coast. So on Saturday, dry air mass, near record heat. There's the moisture that we'll be watching and how it progresses. You can see how critically dry we are, areas in the brown. Yellow indicates marginally critical. Green is low or little or no risk of large fire due to higher fuel moisture. You can see winds are fairly light for the most part on the left. You can see humidities on the right, bone dry, 3%, 5% in the south, even 10% and low teens up into Idaho. We'll combine that with the temperature. You can see the hottest temperatures here from 114 in Vegas, 107 in Reno. I believe that would be a new record. 99 in Boise. That's where the heat is. You go further eastwards, and it's more in the low 90s across the eastern Great Basin, but that's going to change by tomorrow. Tomorrow, that high shifts further eastwards. You see the main axis is right along the Nevada-Utah border. You can see these enhanced areas of moisture starting to rotate up and around the high. So we'll bake our fuels another day. Winds a little bit more moderate in these orange areas, 15 to 25 miles an hour. You can see these dry humidities, ridiculously dry in the single digits to low teens everywhere. You can see these temperatures. Another scorcher in Reno, 107, but you can see uh, the eastern Great Basin, Salt Lake area, goes from the low to mid 90s right up into the low hundreds. Low hundreds also as you get towards Twin Falls and heading up further towards Pocatello. 105 in Boise, 91 in McCall. Everyone gets super hot, dry humidity. Now here, Monday, on the left, there's that moisture that pushes across off the Sierra into a good portion of northwest Nevada, actually northern Nevada. This is a late afternoon Monday image. It's Sunday night into Monday morning. If we shift this backwards about maybe 200 miles, we see the possibility of nocturnal thunderstorms late Sunday night, early Monday morning, and those tend to produce very little rain. They'll be more over northwest Nevada. Tricky with some of the fuels, so we've issued high risk for a smaller area right now. You can see here in the red. We'll see what happens. We think anything happens in the Oahes and some higher elevations, fuels might not quite be there just yet. Also, as the further northeastwards into Nevada you go, also some of the middle to higher elevations, fuels not quite there, but they're approaching. So we'll monitor that. Humidities start coming up a little bit with that moisture. No, not as much single digits, mostly in the low to mid-teens. But here's the other issue with the lightning. You see these strong southwest winds, orange to purple shades. Those are 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. And if after the lightning Sunday night, Monday morning, we get clearing and humidity drops down into the low teens, and we get these winds, then we could have some issues with multiple stars. It'll depend on how much lightning we get. Not much organized precip here. You see the monsoon well to the south, and we go quickly through the period. There are some lingering thunderstorms on Tuesday across central areas. The high pressure builds on Wednesday, so we stay hot through Hebrew. Notice some of this air mass here, this blackish area, starts moving into a good portion of the Great Basin. The tannish shade, the really dry air mass disappears. We're not into the main monsoon, but we should see humidities rise about 5 or 10% across the area. That'll increase the thunderstorms across eastern Utah and the Arizona Strip. You see some of these PSAs that were brown have shifted over to the yellow. But otherwise, most other areas stay dry. The deep monsoon still to the south, being wrapped up by a possible another tropical storm, which will rob the monsoon and have to start that process over again. So the deep monsoonal moisture stays to the south, but we get a little bit of it here. A little spoke breaks out into Utah late in the period. The 8 to 14 day does show a push of monsoonal activity increasing. This is July 22nd to 28th. Temperatures stay hot. And this concludes our briefing. Have a great day.